Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review. After the reviews of the fall animes, which I finished 2 days ago, it's time to review some non-seasonal animes. And the first one I'm going to review today is the mystery anime Hyouka. The main protagonist of Hyouka is Oreki Hotaru, who lives by the motto, "If I don't have to do it, I won't. If I do have to do it, make it quick." Oreki tries to live his life conserving as much energy as possible. One day, however, his peaceful life is stopped abruptly when he receives a letter from his sister. In this letter, she asks/forces Oreki to join the school's classics club. It shouldn't be a big deal since he would be the only member. Until another member named Chitanda Eru enters. A very curious girl who wonders about everything and therefore ends Oreki's peaceful existence. Before I start this review, I must warn you that there will be a spoiler in this review. It has been a while since I had to put up the spoiler alert tag in a review, but here there's one small spoiler I have to tell because it was something that really bothered me. But as usual, I will tell you in advance when the spoiler is coming up and I will provide you with a link to skip the spoiler if you want to. So let's start this review by talking about the animation. It won't be a surprise to anyone that the animation in Hyouka was splendid. Every anime coming from Kyoto Animation has gorgeous animation and Hyouka was no exception. The high level of sharpness, detail and color use that KyoAni is known for was again present here in Hyouka. It definitely lived up to the expectations we have when it comes to KyoAni's animation. Next thing I liked was our main character Oreki. Oreki reminded me strongly of Keima from The World God Only Knows. Both are very smart and analytical and they can manipulate people and situations into their own favor. Combine that with Oreki's laid-back personality, since he doesn't want to waste energy when he doesn't have to, and you get an interesting character that's a type I really enjoy watching. But when Oreki gets his head into the mystery that he and the Classics Club are presented with, he will do anything to solve it, because that's just the thing that he gets a kick out of. Coupled with that is his relationship with Chitanda. Two completely different personalities that come together in a club are bound to collide. And every single time that a new mystery was presenting itself, you could just see Oreki thinking, "Shit, she's going to say it again." And then Chitanda always said her key sentence, "Watashi kininarimasu," or "I'm curious." But as the saying goes, opposites are attracted to each other, but more about that later. Now we get to the mysteries themselves. A few weeks ago in my review of Beautiful Bones, I praised the wittiness and the cleverness that was put into the different mysteries. Well, here in Hyouka it's the same thing. The mysteries in this anime are very well thought out and you can just see that a lot of time and development went into them. Playing with words that have multiple meanings or pronunciations, and using real life content to solve the mysteries gave them a lot of body. Each and every arc I was surprised by the eventual outcome that Oreki would come up with, because it was always something special. I just mentioned that Hyouka is built around arcs, each with its own mystery, and seeing a solution to a mystery every few episodes made the anime interesting to follow as a whole. I'm making the comparison with a mystery anime from past season being Subete ga F ni Naru. There, one of my biggest complaints was that all the solutions to the different animes all came together in the last 3 episodes, and that therefore the larger part of the anime was quite boring. Hyouka didn't have this problem since it's built around arcs. Now I immediately have to counter that with a negative point, being that apart from the mysteries in the different arcs, there was no overall mystery or storyline in Hyouka. That was a missed opportunity. It would have been really interesting to see, on top of the arc mysteries, an overall mystery that the characters would solve during the anime. That would have given the anime a nicer flow. Like what I would have done if I was the director of this anime was taking the arc around the Hyouka and made that the overall storyline so that the characters don't immediately figure out what the name Hyouka means. It would have been logical as well since the name of the anime is Hyouka. Another negative point I want to mention about the mysteries was that despite them being well written, you couldn't think along with the characters. See, one of the most fun things about a mystery series, it being an anime, a movie or a book, is to think along with the characters to solve the mystery. That's why we watch or read mysteries, and that's something that wasn't possible in Hyouka. The solution of the mysteries would always contain a clue that for us as the audience was impossible to know. There was always some thinking pattern that Oreki would come up with that we never could construct because we lacked certain bits of information that the characters did have. This anime was the opposite of most storylines where the audience knows more than the characters. But these issues weren't my biggest bother with this anime. No, that came at the very end of the anime, and this is a small spoiler that I announced at the beginning of the video, so click the link on the screen to skip this part if you haven't seen Hyouka yet. So my biggest problem came at the end of the anime, being the conclusion on the romance in this anime, and more specifically that there's no goddamn conclusion at all. I was so fed up with that ending. I mean, it was clear as day from the very start of this anime that Oreki and Chitanda were meant to become a couple. Then, anime, you give us 24 episodes of build up towards that relationship, and definitely in the final episode, and then you simply don't do anything with it? When I was watching that final scene, first I was like, yeah, it's finally going to happen. And then it got to, seriously? Are you being serious, anime? The fact that you gave us hope that Oreki and Chitanda would become a couple and then just said nope was a savage thing to do, KyoAni. It was plain savage. And you know what? It doesn't happen once, it happens twice. Also, this relationship between Satoshi and Ibara was clear as day from the very first episode, and I was actually rooting more for them than for Oreki and Chitanda. And then their possible relationship ends on nothing. It seems quite clear that Ibara has rejected Satoshi in the end, but you can just feel that there's something that hasn't been told yet, that there's something that Ibara's not telling. I had that feeling during the entire anime, and unless I read the novel, I will never know what it is. So as a conclusion, despite the issues I had with the mysteries and the thing at the end of the anime, I found Hyouka to be a damn good mystery anime. And that's why I'm going to rate Hyouka at a well-deserved 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely another hit series made by Kyoto Animation. Then there are some other mystery animes that I already reviewed that you can watch after Hyouka, like Beautiful Bones, or if you want to get more serious, give Subete ga F ni Naru a shot. And with that I conclude my review of Hyouka. As usual, you can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put it in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu, and I will see you all in the next video.